Those appointed to that committee include Ambassador Charles Minor, who will serve as chairman, David Vinton is a member, and Teneke Toure Kabal. Other members of the committee include the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, FUTA Corporation, National Food Authority, Liberia Business Association, Liberia Marketing Association, National Transport Union of Liberia, Liberia Bankers Association, the National Civil Society Council of Liberia, and the Rural Women Organization. So this is the committee that the President has set up to deal with the challenges Liberia currently faces with our staple food. We also want to announce that the new Liberia has returned to the newsstand as of today, and it's going to be so regularly Monday, Wednesday, Friday. These people has been up to stand for like five months, so we are happy to announce that the team at the ministry, headed by the Deputy Minister for Technical Services, we have brought back the new Liberia to the newsstand. We also want to announce, hopefully, that there will be some trouble with internet connectivity in Liberia. I think starting maybe now or tonight, or tomorrow morning. Customers of Orange will experience about 40% outage and 60% will be off. Lone Star subscribers or their customers will experience about 60% outage and about 40% will be on. For the rest of the service provided could be down, including the telco, except electroshock, which is another business. They may have about 50% up and 50% down. The cable consortium, that team that manages the connectivity, they're going to start to remedy that situation from tonight, from midnight tonight to tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. So we're hoping that in a short time services will be restored fully. But it's not going to be as it was a couple of weeks back when we faced total outage. This is going to be like a minor disruption to internet connectivity. So if you're experiencing that, that's the reason. There are a couple of issues we want to talk about very quickly. Our attention is drawn to a group of, we would describe them as, I don't know, whether they're confused or they failed. Maybe they're a group of boys club. We understand that they are reported to have said that the country is currently fast declining under the Bouaka administration. And those boys usually do not deserve the attention of the government and of the ministry, and they usually do not deserve our response. But we have to respond, at least because we want to set the record straight. Contrary to their loose and baseless talks, Liberia was rescued from their evil empire and the country is currently on the path to prosperity. Maybe we want to remind, we say evil boys club, as to what it means for a country to fast decline during the governance process. Under their reign of terror, we're just going to list a few classic examples of what it means for the nation to be in massive decline. So for example, a nation is in decline when their president built 47 condominiums for himself in the first 100 days of their administration. That's what decline is. When an appointed minister of state, their appointed minister of state, in the first week of being appointed, bought a $350,000 house in this country. You don't need to mention the name of that minister, but that's just a classic example of what it means for a nation to be in decline. When their president demolished his dilapidated 9th Street home and replaced it with a mansion worth millions of dollars in the first 100 days, that is what it means when a nation is in decline. When our nation's international friends describe their government as kleptocratic, that is what it means when a nation is in decline. And when 16 billion, we all know the story, 16 billion of printed Liberian currency disappeared in broad daylight. We do not know up to now what happened. That is a classic example of what a nation that is in decline, that is what it is. When leaders of their administration are sanctioned or were sanctioned right and left for corruption and killing, other forms of human rights abuses, that is what it means if a nation is in decline. When their government stole partners' money from the Central Bank of Liberia and they were openly rebuked. We all remember what happened when United States government and EU representatives and other partners cried about their money that was deposited at the Central Bank of Liberia being taken away by their government. That is a classic example of what it means if a nation is in decline. When radio stations of critics or perceived critics of their president at the time were attacked as enemies of the state, and they were shut down unceremoniously, that is a classic example of what a nation is in decline. Those are the indicators, those are the action that you see happening. Or when the government refuses to allow a radio station to open, even though that station had met all these requirements. Remember the case of the classic case of Punch FM. Our Punch FM suburb and the gavel of their administration. That is when you know that a nation is in decline. When people in presidential cycle are accused of killing auditors, EPS officers, Melvin Easley, for example, we know the story. When the government distributes poverty through a so-called harmonization process, for which based recently released World Poverty Statistics for Liberia. I mean, it's not all saying. It's the World Bank that said that over the last 6 years, poverty increased in Liberia. Thanks to the boys' club that were managing the country at the time, who have the confidence to say that our country currently, economy, President Bouakai is declining. When the footballing president could not develop sports, and we all remember that FIFA banned the SKD sport complex, that international matches could not be played. That is a typical example of what a nation in decline is. When $25 million that they announced that they were going to use to mop up excess liquidity on the market. We all know what happened to that $25 million. We're still talking about it. We don't know. But we know that some people had the money in bets and they said they were exchanging it to mop up, I don't know what they're trying to mop up, but we all know the story. When lies are told disproportionately about the following projects that they announced. The coastal highways never happened. 7 soccer stadiums across the country never happened. 4 Israeli companies to Liberia never happened. 20 cities on Bali Island never happened. 22 UAE investors never happened. Natural resource swap never happened. Eton and Igbo map ratified by the legislature then never happened. 6,000 teachers from Nigeria coming to Liberia never happened. 2,000 housing units in West Point never happened. An agriculture bank never happened. 4-lane LW road never happened. The creation of 1 million jobs never happened. 2 overhead bridges never happened. Free loans to market women never happened. 50,000 affordable housing units never happened. Free medical care for persons with disabilities never happened. The new Liberia Lone Star airline, we only saw the cake. I don't know whether we have the Liberia Airlines now. That never happened too. 50 million medical laboratory project that was announced. can show me where that is right now. Free medical care for citizens over 70 years old. Never happened. Even the COVID relief fund, COVID food distribution, COVID aid was squandered. You know what happened? When MCC, Millennium Challenge Corporation for Liberia, their impact was mismanaged here. No. These are all indicators when a nation is in decline. On the contrary, this is what we have done and this is what we have achieved over the last 100 years. President Walker has restored Liberia's international image. He declared his assets in 6 weeks. Those are certainly not indicators of decline. President Walker in the first 100 days has built 0 mansion for himself. He's still in the same building that we know he has been in for years. He's still staying there. We're currently confronting the drug crisis. We are attracting international actors. Recently, we brought in 115 tourists from 5 nations, including the United States. That didn't happen in 6 years. We are beginning to pay civil servants from the 15th of every month. In the last 6 years, on our friends, never happened. We are currently engaging with the abandoned yet Liberia role. We are currently ensuring justice for victims of the Civil War. Remember, in the first 100 days, President Walker signed the executive order, for the establishment of War Economic Crimes Court. Massive declaration of assets by public officials. We successfully implemented a 100-day deliverable, and currently, as you already witnessed today, we announced the process that is going to set in motion the establishment or the drafting of our new development agenda. And the country is on a forward march. So I don't know why, where maybe people sit down and imagine that because when they feel others are going to feel. I think that's a figment of imagination. So I'm not sure how is Liberia declining. When Liberia is massively declining, we are currently declining in the country. This is the Ministry of Information. I mean, press conference was going on. I can tell how many, generators that were here. How this building was when the colleagues took over. And what we face currently, we've all been seeing it. We need not talk more about the state of decline in which those boys through this country, for which the Liberian people, true to the testament that the Liberian people themselves witnessed that the country was already in decline, for which they say, no, we could not go with this guy for the next 6 years. So if anybody wants a test of decline and a rejection of decline, you just need to look back to December, what happened. The Liberian people said, no, we're not going to continue to go down, or want to go back up. That's the reason why the Unity Party Alliance, headed by President Walker, has been entrusted with a mandate to transform this country, and we focus on that. Since these are the few things I wanted to share with you, I think I was going to break and take some questions if you have.
So, please, you got to have oral year. And as though I was a prophet, I said when the political time comes, you see a long line. They may even need to put in the top family line. When the UN was here, the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning was here, they were talking about those interventions that will take our country forward. Everybody saying that here is sleeping. You can go ahead and ask your question. Questions are not necessarily meant for Yempu, it could be meant for Daniel, for Bridget. I will not get involved because, Madam and sometimes when I see things happening, I get when people come making noise, I can just sit on the floor and say, see who's talking. I, Jerome Pierre, was an official of a government. And I'm faced with the disgrace of sanction at the greatest country on earth. I'll be on the ground trying to remake myself. I will not be shouting around, behaving like I'm a Messiah, but I'm actually an agent of the devil. these are the terms, these are the circumstances, these are the conditions. When evildoers will think that they can manipulate the minds of our people, when the excesses of their plans, wasting all what is done. I can only look and shake my head sometimes and say, see who's talking. Ask your question.
Thank you so much. My name is Josh Nemo, and I'm a code for Kids TV Liberia. So I listened to you talk about or outline all of what you call decline of the state. And looking at your administration agenda that have embedded in it the rule of law, and what you listed, the crimes. So what is your administration doing in terms of bringing the full weight of the law to bear so that it serves as deterrent? Thank you.
So, my name is Joseph Seli, I report for Shine TV. Mr. Minister, a few days ago, the Electrical RC boss announced to the country that over 60% of our brothers who came from Ghana are currently on drugs. I want to know how concerned is the government, and what are some of those mechanisms the government are putting in place to quarantine those guys who came from Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Minister. My name is Trevor and I report for Spoon FM and Spoon Network. You outlined a couple of issues, some excesses by the CDC government, but you are in power now. A lot of Liberians are concerned. You raised the issue about the death of an EPA officers. Somebody will say, why can't you investigate and bring the culprit to justice? And secondly, you also outlined issues about corruption. Recently, the legislature had to forgive your Minister of Public Works for illegally awarding $22 million contract out of the PBCC procurement. How can you reconcile violation of the law to what you just said?
Good afternoon again. My name is Olia Phillips. This question is for Mr. Pierre. It's not relevant today. We talked about last time about some point that you were trying to request for a year at the Ministry of Information. And you said that in 2022, the budget will pass at 6.2 million, and it passes for 2 million. 3.8 million going to goods and services, and shows some of their flag here that you don't think, according to your word, that the Ministry of Information needed 6.2 million. My question is, how far have you gone with that audit request?
So we are amongst the few institutions that are breaking the GSC for financial audit, and the GSC has acknowledged. So the process will go on. You know how audit processes go, they take some time, and I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it in the time that. Chukon, except you have not been following, your media men are expected to be following. The police inspector general had a press conference where he said they were opening investigations into all questionable deaths in our country. I'm sure many of you in the hall here and journalists are aware. And I can say to you that those investigations are ongoing. Not that we haven't done anything about the issues raised by Matthew. The inspector general has made that pronouncement, and the investigation are ongoing. Forgive. Is it possible that somebody does something that is in breach of the law and you say you are forgiving? True? to run a country like that. If somebody commits a crime, they will face the consequences of the crime. And it's so wrong for us to sometimes keep misinforming the public about some 22 days. Some will come and say, government spending 22 million to fix Jack Road. Where does that come from? The Minister of Public Works on the same podium. He said the 22 million budget on road is the budget for the entire fiscal period. And somebody said that's what they spent during the 100-day illegal period. And even with clarification, we will come back with it, we'll come back with it. So there's a deliberate attempt to run for misinformation. Other than that, nothing is wrong. And I don't really believe that if something is wrong, if I, Jeremy Pierre, does something that is in breach of the law, and everybody convinces the law, will say, go and sin no more. I leave the rest of the question with brothers. What else was said?
The LRC people came from Ghana, 60% on drugs.
For the LRC member, just here, man. You told your what they will do. Right now, all of the people are under the control of the government. They are at a center, how do they call it, the Carry one? Carry Transit Center. That's where they are. He also informed you here that they will take some action on those who are on drugs. They will try to detox them, and they will try to see whether they can make them productive citizens. Because they are citizens, as he said, we didn't see them as such, maybe they would have remained in Ghana. But they are Liberians, irrespective of what they are. He told you that some of the people were really crazy people, right? But he still brought them, and we'll make some effort to see whether we can make them productive people. So we have interest in them, that's why we brought them. We're not going to condemn them to something they are not because they're taking drugs. Because even here, people who they met here, some people here taking drugs. There was a program of a rehab center almost reaching the Basel that took place yesterday. President Walker should have gone there, but other things came where he didn't go there. Trying to help people who are on drugs. So they will be factored into some of the existing programs where we see how we can make them productive once again. We just bring them and say, go in the street and join the other people to be whatever you call them. They will be rehabilitated. We'll try every way we can to make them productive citizens. Was there any other question? I think not, and I want to thank you. You see why I didn't want the people in the UN who want to be here to listen to? They're getting happy? Because then you're pushing her into our political discourse. The UN should be the UN. We should be what we are. So, thank you for coming. You and family will have your conversation. Thank you.